Today we are going to be talking about a pretty fascinating guy, Steve Jobs. And, I feel like everybody knows the name Steve Jobs. But I also think that there's so much more to his story than just, the tech genius. And it's interesting because his story starts even before he was born with kind of a twist. Adoption.
Right. Jobs' adoption shortly after birth by Paul and Clara Jobs really had a significant and lasting impact on him.
Yeah, it sort of makes you wonder, like, that sense of being chosen, but also maybe this feeling of searching for belonging, how that might have influenced his drive and ambition.
Yeah, it's a theme that comes up throughout his life over and over again. And his adoptive father, Paul, a machinist, also played a key role.
Oh, wow.
He taught Steve about electronics, encouraged him to, take things apart, put them back together.
Yeah.
Those early experiences really fostered a love for problem solving and ignited a passion for understanding how things work.
It's almost like those tinkering sessions, in the garage were a training ground for the technological revolution that he would lead later.
Exactly, yeah.
But it wasn't all, smooth sailing, was it? Jobs wasn't exactly known for being a model student.
He definitely had a rebellious streak, often questioning authority and traditional approaches. This unconventional mindset really became a hallmark of his career, pushing him to challenge norms and constantly push boundaries.
Yeah.
And it was this spirit that led to the birth of Apple.
In 1976, in that very same garage, Jobs, along with Steve Wozniak and Ronald Wayne, founded Apple Computer Company.
Right.
Their first creation, the Apple I was a computer kit that was aimed at hobbyists.
It's amazing to think that something that started so small
Paved the way for, their groundbreaking invention.
Right. The Apple II wasn't just another computer. It featured a user-friendly interface, something that was unheard of at the time. With its graphical interface icons and menus, it was a revelation compared to the command line interfaces that dominated the market.
Right.
It allowed people who weren't tech-savvy to easily interact with and use a computer. This was the true revolution.
So the Apple II made technology accessible, bringing it into the homes and lives of everyday people. That's huge. And Jobs was only in his 20s when this happened. By 1980, the Apple IPO made him one of the youngest millionaires in America.
Jobs possessed this remarkable combination of marketing genius and visionary leadership. He understood that it wasn't just about building computers, it was about crafting a culture around them, a community of users who felt empowered by technology.
But then came a pretty dramatic turn of events.
Yeah?
In 1985, conflicts with then CEO John Sculley led to Jobs being ousted from the very company he built.
Right.
That must have been incredibly difficult.
It was devastating.
Yeah.
But you know what? He later described it as surprisingly liberating. It forced him to kind of step back, reassess, and ultimately redirect his energy. And this period led him to establish Next, a company focused on building advanced computers for education and business.
So even in a moment of apparent setback, he saw opportunity.
He did.
While Nick's hardware didn't achieve the same level of success, its software, the Next Step operating system, proved to be incredibly significant.
Absolutely. It's a really powerful example of how seemingly unrelated experiences can converge and lead to breakthroughs.
Talk about a comeback story.
Yeah.
But let's not forget his venture into the world of animation.
Right.
That's a whole other chapter in the Steve Jobs saga.
It is. In 1986, Jobs acquired a division of Lucasfilm that he would transform into what we know today as Pixar Animation Studios. With Pixar, Jobs didn't just enter the animation industry, he revolutionized it.
Yeah, the release of Toy Story in 1995, that really was a turning point. Pixar's first full-length feature film, and it just, blew audiences away. Do you remember seeing, those toys come to life the first time?
Absolutely. And Toy Story wasn't just groundbreaking for its storytelling. It set a new standard for computer-generated imagery. It proved that animation could be both technologically sophisticated and emotionally resonant.
And Pixar, under Jobs' leadership, they didn't stop there.
No.
They went on to produce a string of, classic films like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles.
Right.
They became a powerhouse in animation.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was the sale of Pixar to Disney in 2006, which made Jobs the largest shareholder in Disney.
Wow.
So it's amazing how his influence stretched across so many different industries.
Speaking of influence, we can't forget his triumphant return to Apple.
Right.
In 1997, Apple acquired Next, and that marked the return of Steve Jobs to the company that he co-founded. It wasn't just a homecoming, it was a renaissance.
Yeah. Jobs stepped in as interim CEO, and he initiated a complete turnaround, both culturally and financially. And one of his first moves was the launch of the iMac in 1998. And it was a radical departure from the beige boxes that were the norm at the time.
I remember those colorful iMacs. I mean, they were just so eye-catching. I remember thinking, like, computers can be cool. It signaled a shift not just in design, but in how people perceive technology.
Exactly. It was about making technology approachable, even fashionable. And Jobs understood that aesthetics mattered, but it wasn't just about looks. His laser focus was on the user experience. He wanted to create products that were intuitive, elegant, and a joy to use.
And that philosophy, it really drove Apple's success in the years that followed. I mean, the next decade saw a wave of innovation.
The iPod launched in 2001, completely revolutionized how we listen to music. Remember the tagline, 1,000 songs in your pocket?
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the device being smaller. It was about personalizing your music experience. You were no longer limited by the radio or CDs.
Right.
You could curate your own soundtrack.
It really put the power of choice in the hands of the listener.
It did.
Then in 2003 came the iTunes Store.
Yeah.
Which changed the way we buy and consume music. It offered this vast digital marketplace that was easy to use, affordable, and had a massive selection. I mean, it was a game changer for the music industry.
Absolutely.
And of course, we can't talk about Apple's transformation without mentioning the iPhone.
Right.
When it launched in 2007, it wasn't just another phone. It was like a cultural phenomenon.
I know.
I mean, the iPhone really was this convergence of so many things.
It was.
A phone, a music player, an internet browser, all in one sleek device. It ushered in the smartphone era and just redefined what a mobile device could be.
And it was just the beginning. In 2008, Apple launched the App Store, and suddenly your phone could do almost anything you could imagine.
The App Store was revolutionary in that it democratized software development. It gave independent developers this platform to reach millions of users.
Right.
And it empowered people to customize their iPhones with apps that met their specific needs and interests.
Exactly. And then in 2010, Apple released the iPad, which defined the tablet market. It offered a really unique user experience, larger than a phone, more portable than a laptop.
What's remarkable is that Jobs had this vision of this seamless integration of hardware, software, and services.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about individual products. It was about creating an ecosystem.
Right.
And that's what truly set Apple apart. It's what made them one of the most valuable companies in the world.
It's important to remember that during all of this, Jobs was battling a serious health issue. He was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer in 2003.
It's incredible that he continued to lead Apple through, such a challenging time.
Yeah.
Never losing sight of his vision.
It really speaks volumes about his resilience and his dedication. Even in the face of adversity, he remained focused on pushing the boundaries of technology and design.
His commitment to simplicity, user experience, and elegant design, that remains at the core of Apple's philosophy to this day.
Sadly, Steve Jobs passed away on October 5, 2011.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the most visionary leaders are human. But, he left behind an incredible legacy.
His impact goes far beyond just the realm of technology.
In 2022, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Wow, that recognition really speaks volumes about his lasting impact on American innovation and culture.
So looking back at everything we've discussed, what stands out to you as like the most fascinating aspect of Steve Jobs' story?
For me, it's his incredible ability to anticipate and shape future needs. He wasn't simply reacting to existing trends, he was creating them. He had this uncanny knack for understanding what people wanted often before they even knew it themselves.
He seemed to have this intuitive grasp of the human desire for connection, creativity, and self-expression.
Yeah.
And he used technology as a tool to empower people to fulfill those desires.
Exactly. His vision wasn't just about building products. It was about understanding and responding to deep-seated human needs and aspirations. It's a powerful lesson for anyone, regardless of their field.
Is there something that you think our listener could explore further?
I think it'd be fascinating to consider the broader cultural impact of Apple products. How have they shaped the way we communicate it, consume media, and even think about the world around us?
Yeah, it's so easy to just, focus on the devices themselves.
Right.
But it's crucial to step back and consider their larger societal implications.
Absolutely. And of course, we can't forget the man himself. Jobs was a complex figure.
Right.
Known for his intense drive, demanding leadership style, and unwavering commitment to his vision.
He wasn't always easy to work with, but his passion and dedication were undeniable. There's a lot we can learn from studying his leadership approach, but the positive and the challenging aspects.
Yeah, it's a fascinating study in leadership and human dynamics. And finally, I think it's worth pondering the future of technology and design in the post-Jobs era. How has his legacy shaped the industry, and what are the challenges and opportunities facing innovators today?
It's a question that sparks endless debate. It's clear that Steve Jobs' story is one of innovation, resilience, and the power of vision. It's a story that continues to resonate, inspiring us to think differently, push boundaries, and strive for excellence in all that we do.
Well said.
So there you have it, a glimpse into the multifaceted world of Steve Jobs. We hope this deep dive has given you new insights into his journey beyond the familiar headlines. And more importantly, we hope it's ignited a spark of curiosity for you to explore further the aspects of his story that resonated most with you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.